I've seen too many people, way too many people saying, oh, I can't wait to see a super fight between Terence Crawford and Dimitri Bivol. Stop, because honestly, this is where weight plays too much of a factor. And I will say as well, Bivol and Terence Crawford have a very similar skill level overall. So you can't suddenly think that Terence Crawford can move up and just outskill Dimitri Bivol when Bivol's literally as smart as what Terence Crawford is. And Bivol knows how to use his weight. He used it on Canelo. And people might say, oh, you know, Crawford completely outsmarted Canelo at 168. I mean, Bivol outsmarted him at light heavyweight and used his weight. If the fight happens at light heavyweight. Crawford isn't making that weight. Making 168 is one thing. Hard as it was hard for Crawford, of course. Making 175 is a different thing. Those extra 7 pounds are a big thing, and they are something that will slow you down. And people say, oh yeah, well, I thought Canelo would beat Crawford, so, you know, and I was basing it off the weight, and, you know, I was completely wrong with that. But Canelo's nowhere near as skilled as Dimitri Bivol, and Bivol showed it in the fight against Canelo. And we all know how skilled Canelo is, and Bivol was a much bigger guy than him. But Bivol didn't just win the fight based on weight. He won the fight based on completely outskilling and schooling Canelo. So that's the thing as well. And I think Bivol put the beating on Canelo, which took a lot out of Canelo. And Canelo hasn't been the same since that loss. Crawford schooled and dominated Canelo in a really bad way. Of course he did. But I think overall it was clear to see Canelo had a tailor-made style for Terence Crawford. And I already knew that as well. But it was just the weight that I thought would win it for Canelo. But again, I was wrong. I was wrong with that one. I was wrong, and I'm glad that I was wrong. But I think right now people are getting so overexcited. I think people are getting so overexcited about what they're expecting from Crawford. And I think there was a video on as well, Crawford saying about Benavidez, about a potential fight with him. And, you know, he admitted himself he was unsure on it. And overall, I made a video, you know, I said the other day that Benavidez would beat Crawford because he's much heavier than him and he'll use his weight on him, and he carries much more power in his shots than what it does with Canelo. He knows how to use his weight better. You know, people might say, oh, because Canelo knocked out Caleb Plant, Benavidez didn't, that Canelo, it's harder. But I think it's just that punch placement of Canelo, which is better than Benavidez. I think Benavidez is a bigger and more vicious puncher overall, and uses his size in his fights. He constantly puts the pressure on you and walks you down. Canelo wasn't able to do that against Crawford. He was just a sitting duck, really, against him, and Crawford just boxed rings around him. And Bivol is completely different to Benavidez. Bivol's way more skilled than what Benavidez is. So I think it's a really, really bad one for Crawford if that's to happen. I think it's a really bad one, because Bivol's got the skill and he's got the weight. Crawford can't make the weight anyway. Don't think there's much more to say.